everyone!
My name is NINDYAWATI.
My name is DINAR.
We are from Binusian University.
In this video, we are going to talk about the Chaucer Era, which happened in the 14th century. First of all, let's talk about Geoffrey Chaucer. Geoffrey Chaucer was born in the late 1340s in London, though the precise date and location remain unknown. He was an English poet and author, widely considered the greatest English poet of the Middle Ages. Chaucer is known as the father of English literature, and he was the first writer to be buried in Poets' Corner of Westminster Abbey. His father and grandfather were both London vintners, and several previous generations had been merchants in Ipswich. He lived in a turbulent period of war, plague, social revolt, religious heresy, and murder kings. But the society was also vibrant, creative, and increasingly literate, a time of resurgence for the English language as a literary medium. His work was so important because he decided to write in English instead of French, even though French was spoken by those in power at that time. Chaucer wrote in a range of poetic forms and genres. He composed transitions such as the Book of the Duchess, the Legend of Good Women, and the Parliament of Vowels. He also produced philosophical and scientific works. He translated the Consolation of Philosophy by the Roman senator and philosopher Boethius.
Next, let's talk about the historical background of the Chaucer era. This era marked the first significant literary age in English literature. It heralded a new era of learning. Chaucer's era also witnessed many social, political, and religious challenges. During this era, there was a strong dislike for the papal or church's interference, which had previously been the citadel of moral authority, social prestige, but now suffered from corruption, turpitude, and superstitions. There were also strong nationalistic passions due to the 100 Years' War between England and France. And then, there was also the charged atmosphere due to the peasant upheavals in England. The middle class also emerged as a strong social stratum. All of these represented a transition from a feudal social setup toward a free society where men and women could exercise their individual whims and fancies without fear of reprimand. Here are some of the main characteristics of this period. First, about the language. The age saw the emergence of the standard English language. This was the single biggest development of the age, as English had previously been heavily curbed by the influence of French and Latin. The East Midland dialect became the accepted form of standardized English. The language saw great achievements and expression in the masterpieces of Chaucer. French and Latin saw a waning influence on the language of the day. Chaucer's use of language to describe the man and his place is embellished with beauty, simplicity, and humor. The common examples from the daily life accounts details of blooming gardens in spring to unique human characteristics. The language glorified themes of beauty, vitality, and the secular sentiment.
The age is known for its scathing criticism of the established order and religion. Church's control over temporal affairs of common man was challenged during this period. There is a renewed interest in the common man's affairs. There's a theme of derision of romance, especially by Chaucer. The drama takes the prominent stage. The dominance of historical fables and romance of medieval age was eschewed for more humanistic themes. It was a period of great social and intellectual movements, as well as poverty, unrest, and revolt. It had a plague called the Black Death, as well as the growth of the scientific temper and inquiry. It had great criticism of the church, as well as the celebration of the commoners. It is often regarded as the precursor to the Renaissance movement of the Elizabethan age.
Prose. The English prose had its beginning in this age. Due to the ripening of the language, the prose could now be experimented with. The biblical translation of John Wycliffe is an example of it. The prose writing is both original and individual. There are experimental works like that of Thomas Nallery and also desire to shape the grip of Latin as seen in demand for an English Bible. The formation of allegory was revived in this period. There was a return of alliteration which had been replaced with rhymes in the Middle Ages. The prominent prose writers of Chaucer's age were Chaucer, John of Treviso, and John Wycliffe. There is also a great influence of Scottish works like Barbour.
The age of Chaucer saw the birth of English poetry. In Chaucer's age, poetry continued to flourish and assume an apparel position. The most noted poets of this age were Chaucer, John Gower, and William Langland. Spenser became the father of poetic diction as there was no poetic diction before this age. The poetry saw the amalgamation of religion, humanism, and secular passions. There were new forms of poetry like narrative and descriptive poetry that were enhanced during this time period. Chaucer himself was known for his transient observations. He was sociable and loved mingling with people from diverse backgrounds, as evidenced in his work, The Canterbury Tales. In it, he has been able to pen minute peculiarities and complexities of human nature. Chaucer uses 7-line stanza A, B, A, B, B, C, C, known as the Chaucerian rhyme meter. Normally, the Chaucerian poems are divided into 3 stages: Italian, or the Parliament of Fowls, French, or the Romaunt, and English, the Parson's Tale. However, there is also some criticism for the inordinate length of some speeches and preachy discourse on ethics.
Now, the last characteristic is that this period was the age of germination. Even though there were no novels or drama in his age, Chaucer's work did plant the seeds for its development in the succeeding Elizabethan age. If the Canterbury Tales had been in prose and divided into scenes and acts, it would have been the language's first drama.